guys, welcome to another episode of Movie Madness, your number one source for movies and more. I'm your host, Matt from OfcarcikFilms.
And I'm Matt Cole from Tumblr Portal.
That's so much better. Sorry, we were having technical difficulties earlier, but now it's all fixed. All right, welcome. We've got a big show for you guys today, so sit back, relax, light up a cigarette, and enjoy. We're going to start off with movie news. We've got a bunch of movie news coming from Hollywood this past week. First up is, without any explanation whatsoever, the creators of Mission Impossible 5 just released that they are moving their release date for Mission Impossible 5 from December 25th to July 31st of this year, without any explanation whatsoever. Matt, what do you think about this?
I think probably the big explanation is Star Wars is coming out a week before Mission Impossible 5, so I know most people are going to see Star Wars Episode 7 either opening day or the week after, so I know a lot of people won't want to go see Mission Impossible 5 during that week just because, Star Wars is such a big movie to see on that week, so I think it was very smart that they moved the release date from, December 25th on Christmas to July. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's I think it's great. I like the Mission Impossible movies. I think they're fantastic, and I think you're right. I think if you're gonna put it right next to Star Wars, you're gonna be left in the dust. This way, the only thing they really have to compete with is Ant-Man, which I think Ant-Man's gonna be great, but I think they're both gonna do equally well because they're not like. I don't know what the right word to say. They're not like so hyped up as like say Avengers or Star Wars is. Those are going to be the big movies this year. But these are Mission Impossible 5 and Ant-Man are definitely going to be good movies for the summer. And I think it's a smart move because that way they're not competing with those big movies. They're going to have their own little moment in the spotlight, if you will. So yeah, I think it was a very wise, and it also shows that they're so confident with their product that they're saying, "Hey, guess what? We're going to move this up for you guys."
Yeah, I'm really excited for Mission Impossible 5 because I've seen all the other ones, and I love Tom Cruise does a great job for each one, and obviously I'm definitely going to see Star Wars, so I think it's great that I have to see Star Wars and Mission Impossible within the same 2-week period that I do have this break.
Yeah, and it plus, again, I feel like Mission Impossible 5 would just linger in Star Wars' shadow, because, come on, again, I've said it many times, we have been waiting a decade for Star Wars, and if Mission Impossible 5 stayed at the December 25 release date, it would have just lingered there in the shadows. So I think it was a very wise decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry for the pause. I ran to grab a mint because my throat's a little raspy and I don't have any cough drops readily available, so this will have to do. This is what this show does to me. Like, I start to lose my voice the more I talk, and we have just started. Okay. Pop in my mint. All right, the second piece of movie news. Deadpool is hitting the ground running. We have a release date. Deadpool is said to hit theaters on February 12th, 2016. And in a recent interview with Ryan Reynolds regarding the highs and lows of the Deadpool in X-Men and the, I guess you could say, I don't want to say utter failure, but disappointment of Green Lantern, he had this to say. He says, quote, "It's been a long time, but it's happened in the right way, and that's all that matters. We don't have the kind of money that most superhero movies do, but that's great, actually. Necessity is the mother of invention, and that's why we get to make the movie we want to make. You gotta have faith in the people you're working with, and have faith in the prep, and that's all I'm doing. On this one, the prep's been 11 years. You'd like to think you're putting your best foot forward, but we'll see." Matt, what do you think about Ryan's comments?
I think he's right. Deadpool's going to be a very different movie from other superhero movies, and even though they will have a multi-$100 million budget, it's still going to be a really good film. I really do think it's going to be a great film, and I'm actually surprised that it's coming out in February. The fact that we're actually getting the movie a lot closer than we thought it would, because I was expecting late 2016, like probably like September, October, something like that, but in February, it's coming pretty close, so it's like 2 months after Star Wars comes out, and I'm really excited to see it. I'm just really excited. Are you really excited to see it in February?
Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. Like, after, I don't know if if the hype of Star Wars is gonna have dissipated by February. I think I'm gonna still be up in arms about it in a good way. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. I've been waiting to see Deadpool. I think he's a great character. I've said it on the show many times. I have a really good feeling about this time. I have a really good feeling about Deadpool that they're gonna do it right this time. No, and we haven't really seen anything. We saw that little demo that we talked about a few shows back, and you showed me the demo, and I thought it was great. I like the direction that the demo is going in. So hopefully that's the direction. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. Hopefully that's the direction that they take the movie. So yeah, I'm totally excited to see Deadpool come February after Star Wars. If we have no more comments on that, it is... You're all set? All right. We finally have the cast lineup for the new Ghostbusters reboot. Now, before I go into who's playing who, I just want to say that they finally are calling it a reboot. It's not a sequel. It's not like a spin-off or a tie-in. It is a full-on reboot. However, with that said, I wouldn't be surprised because Dan Aykroyd is involved with the project. I wouldn't be surprised if we had little hints or little cameos of the past Ghostbusters in there. But here we go. Your Ghostbuster all-female cast lineup for the new Ghostbusters reboot. You have Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, and Saturday Night Live's Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones. Matt, what do you think about this cast lineup?
I think they're all great actors. I've seen, I know the director is he directed Bridesmaids, which actually starred Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy in the past, so he's had good luck with comedies like that in the past, and the fact that Dan Aykroyd's really happy about this movie, and he's actually going to, somehow be a part of the movie and help out is even great that, they're kind of getting that thumbs up from at least one of the original cast, so it gets me excited. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't know Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones that well. I don't watch Saturday Night Live, that much. Like, I've seen some episodes. Like, one of them had Daniel Radcliffe as the host or whatever. But I'm sure because of their background in those sketches and with comedy, they're going to be great additions. In terms of Melissa McCarthy, I think she's absolutely wonderful. I love 99% of what she's in. What I mean by that is I thought Tammy was absolutely terrible. But that's just me. But, like, The Heat, Bridesmaids, Identity Thief, yep, that's it, thank you. I love those movies. I thought they were hilarious, and I think where she's at right now, this is going to be great for her, because not only is she doing well career-wise, but she's also doing well for herself. I don't know, I think it was the Golden Globes or something. It was an award show a while back. She was showing that she, lost 50 pounds. And I saw her on Ellen promoting her new movie. I think it's called Spy or The Spy. I don't know if there's a the, but she looks really good. She's doing really good for herself, and I think she's really on a great track right now. So I'm really excited, and Kristen Wiig as well. She's great. So I'm really excited about this lineup, and I can't wait to see what they do with the Ghostbusters franchise, because I grew up with Ghostbusters. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Last year I saw the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters on the big screen, so it's gonna be interesting, seeing the original Ghostbusters in theaters and then seeing this reboot. Sorry, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely change your perspective, you know.
yeah, definitely. All right. Our next piece of movie news is that Disney has been eyeing Chris Pratt to be the new Indiana Jones. That in itself is going to spark some discussion here. Matt, what do you think of Chris Pratt becoming the new Indiana Jones?
Yeah, definitely. I can see it. He did a really good job in Guardians of the Galaxy, and the fact that he's going to be in Jurassic World, it's really showing that he's becoming this really big, known actor, and he has that charm to be Indiana Jones. I think he's a perfect fit for the role. What do you think, Matt?
This one, I'm on the fence about this one. I do love Chris Pratt as an actor. I think he's fantastic. I liked him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I have a feeling I'm going to like him in Jurassic Park and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm sure he's just, he's going to do incredibly well in that one as well. But here's the thing about Indiana Jones. We have had 3 successful Indiana Jones and 1 not so great Indiana Jones in the eye of the public. I didn't have a big problem with Indiana Jones in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. My biggest thing was that it didn't feel like the old Indies. Like, I didn't feel like there were enough booby traps, and I thought aliens was kind of pushing it, although they didn't technically say aliens, they're interdimensional beings. But I just felt it was kind of out of the realm of the normal Indiana Jones. It was a very entertaining movie, but we've always known Indiana Jones to be Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford is Han Solo. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. I don't think we could ever get away from that. I'm not saying I want another Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford. He's getting rather too old.
Shia LaBeouf?
Did you Shia LaBeouf? No, stop it. What you just said is a sin. Okay, that's the speech of the devil. No, I thought Shia LaBeouf, he was all right in Crystal Skull, but I don't really think he could be the next Indiana Jones. And if they do an Indiana Jones with Chris Pratt, it's gonna be a reboot.
Yeah, definitely. You won't have to worry about yeah.
Because I don't know their ages, but if he were to just take over the role with the same storyline, he is way too close in age. I may be wrong, but to Shia LaBeouf, or Buff, however you'd like to say it, to be father and son. That just wouldn't work. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
If he goes for it, I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure he's going to be great, and it's going to be entertaining, but I don't know. I think it's just too soon for that, or I'm very on the fence. I don't know.
Time will tell.
That's like your famous line, time will tell. I'm gonna make t-shirts with your face on it and it's gonna say time will tell.
I know.
Alright, our next bit of movie news. Liam Hemsworth has been, according to reports, Liam Hemsworth is going to star in the upcoming Independence Day 2 or Independence Day Forever. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. As the main star. We do have Bill Pullman coming back to reprise his role. We have oh my god, I just had a brain fart. I almost said Ian Malcolm, but the actor who plays Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum. We have Jeff Goldblum coming back to reprise his role. Matt, what do you think? In terms of Liam Hemsworth being the main star of Independence Day 2.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, he's a really good actor. The only disappointing thing is there's no Will Smith. I mean, he was pretty much the main character of the movie, but it's kind of sad that he's not going to be a part of it. But, you have Jeff Goldblum, you have all the other ones that are coming back, Bill Pullman as the president, well, as a former president, because I'm sure it's many years past, and so I don't think he'll still be the president of the United States, but Yeah, I'm excited. At least that the rest of the cast is coming back. What are your thoughts on it?
All right, my first comment to what you just said. Bill Pullman could probably still be the president. They could have taken some weird turn where he's president for life now because he, helped him, the world survive this alien attack. I don't know. He could still be president. He could have been like, voted in for all these years. I don't know. And my second note is yes, it doesn't have Will Smith, and Will Smith was the backbone of the first Independence Day, and you're right. It is going to be real. It is upsetting that he's not going to be in it. And I really think he should. Here are my thoughts about Liam Hemsworth. First of all, right. I thought he was good in Expendables 2. I thought he's good in the Hunger Games franchise, but I feel like he's not up to par with Chris. For those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, come out from under your rock. Chris Hemsworth is his brother who plays Thor, the God of Thunder in the Avengers. I don't think he's really up to par. Like, could he be a well-known actor in maybe 2-3 years? Maybe. But I feel like I got this piece of movie news from AMC, which I gave a shout-out to in our last episode, and this is where I got the news, and this is what they said, and I thought it was a great analogy. Let's have, like, Morgan Freeman and Gary Oldman, and let's make Liam Hemsworth the main character, above these two really great, well-known actors. I don't feel like it works that well enough. I don't know. I think he'll be okay, but I just don't know.
Well, this could be the movie, that shows that he's a really great actor, but, time will tell.
There it is. Yeah, but no, you're right. You're absolutely right. This could be the movie for Liam that, just snaps him into that title of well-known actor. But to quote you, only time will tell. All right, next up, The Last of Us, the movie rendition of the very popular video game The Last of Us, is moving forward. In a recent interview, the creator or director, I totally forgot who it was. He said this, he was asked how similar the film is going to be to the video game. And in a recent interview, he said this, quote, "It's pretty faithful to the game. There are some big changes, but the tone and what the story's trying to say is pretty faithful to the game." Matt, what do you think about the comments and the fact that there are going to be some big changes? And it's not just some changes, some big changes. Matt, what do you think?
Well, it depends on what the changes are. I really hope this movie is good. I'm sure it will be, but, we talked about this in podcasts in the past, that video game movie adaptations haven't been that good. But the fact that Sony Pictures is making this based off a Sony game, the PlayStation, could mean that they're actually working very hard on the story together, because usually when big companies try to make a movie out of a video game, they usually water it down because they don't have a lot of collaboration with the original video game designers. But the fact that the video game designer is backing this project gives me really high hope that they're going to put a lot of the story into the movie, even though they're going to make changes. Changes are made to movies all the time that are based off anything. Like, for example, Jurassic Park. The book is a lot different from the movie, but it's still a fantastic movie, and the book is still fantastic. I've read the book and I see the movie, and I appreciate both for what they are. So if I see The Last of Us, I can appreciate the movie, and I love the movie. If it's a fantastic movie, that's even better, and I can still love the game, even though they're two different things. What are your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to the movie. I loved the game. I love the game. I thought it was a fantastic game. I totally got immersed into the story. My biggest concerns about the movie is, one, the big changes. We don't really know what they are, and that's my fears, the fact that we don't know what the changes are. Could it be changes to the characters? Could it be changes to you know, what the types of, I guess you could say zombies are, but they don't really say zombies. They say clickers and runners. And what's the big gross guy? What's he called? I forget.
I don't know.
Like the juggernaut, or I don't know.
Where's Left 4 Dead? I don't know.
How awesome would that be if that big, ugly, blob-looking guy just punched out of a wall in the Last of Us movie and just said, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
X-Men reference.
But like, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Like, they have the material right in front of them. They have the video game. As long as they make the story and the characters as immersive, as long as you get as into it as you did the video game, then I think it's going to be fine. Anybody who knows me knows, like, I the biggest video game that I want to see put into a movie is Outlast. I think that was a terrific video game, and I love horror stuff. I love it. You know, paranormal, you know, things, maybe not even paranormal, but things that just jump out at you and just like a bunch of scares. I love that stuff. I love getting scared. And this could be along the same lines, but more story driven, and they have the material right in front of them. I'm really scared they're going to screw it up, but hopefully, because it's both a Sony game and Sony is making the movie, hopefully they'll get it right. And that's my rant. Do you have any other comments?
No, just looking forward to it, that's all.
All right. Next up in the world of movie news, Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, speaks about one of your favorite topics, Matt, Star Wars. In a recent interview, Bob said the following, quote, "As one of the few people allowed to visit the set of Star Wars Episode 7, as one of the few people allowed to visit the set during filming, and one of the fewer who've seen most of the footage, I can assure the millions of Star Wars fans who have spent the last decade hoping for a new movie, this one will be well worth the wait. And it's only the beginning of a new era of exceptional Star Wars storytelling. Next year, we'll release our first standalone movie based on these characters, followed by Star Wars Episode 8 in 2007, and we'll finish this trilogy with Star Wars Episode 9 in 2019. End quote. The problem I had reading that is that they used Roman numerals instead of just 8 and 9. So that threw me off. But yeah, Matt, what do you think of Mr. Iger's comments about the upcoming Star Wars releases?
I'm glad just because the he said it's going to be worth the wait. You know, it gets me really excited that this is going to be a movie well worth, you know, the wait that, you know, like you said earlier in this podcast, it's been like a decade since, you know, Episode 3 came out, and the fact that he just announced that the episodes 8 and 9 are coming out with a standalone films coming out each year, 2015, you know, 2017, and 2019 for the new trilogy, and 2016, 2018 for the standalone movies. It's good. It's exciting. The fact that we're getting Star Wars every year, it's just, you know, I can't wait. How about you, Matt? You excited?
I'm always excited for Star Wars. I grew up heavily on Star Wars. Like, my big thing right now is I love the superhero genre. I can't get enough of it. But there's always a place in my heart for Star Wars, and I'm always going to be in love with Star Wars. And I'm super excited for this new trilogy, plus the standalones, and especially the standalones, because that's something new. Yeah, we had like Star Wars Christmas, and we had a couple other like cartoon type of Star Wars standalone movies, which didn't really par up to the actual trilogies, but you know, now they know what they're doing. They're kind of taking on the Marvel Cinematic Universe format, where they're saying, oh, we've got this, and this coming. Not so much titles like Marvel gave us this past year, where they've totally given us our plan up until 2020. But they're definitely saying, hey, you guys are going to get Star Wars every year. And I'm really excited to see, what characters they use, how it all evolves, and how it all fits together with the original saga.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I just can't wait. I can't believe we're getting a Star Wars movie every year. It's crazy.
I know. It's so funny. We've waited a decade for Star Wars Episode 7, and now we're going to get Star Wars every year after that.
I know. My question is, will we have an opening crawl for the standalone movies? And if we do, obviously it's not going to say, like, Episode 7, 8, 9. Like, what is it going to say, when it says Star Wars?
Well, I know a lot of the video games, they, if not all the video games, have an opening crawl, and they'll just say, like, let's take The Force Unleashed, the first one, because the second one I heard wasn't that good. I haven't played it personally, but it would be like Star Wars, and then under it, where it would usually say like episode blank, it says The Force Unleashed. So if they did have an opening crawl, which I'd be very disappointed if they didn't, that's what it would say. Let's say they did a backstory about Boba Fett. It would be Star Wars, Boba Fett's origins, or the origins of Boba Fett, and then it would go into a crawl.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of talks about which characters getting their standalone movie. I've heard Yoda, I've heard Han Solo, I've heard Boba Fett. I think at one point, very briefly, I heard there was going to be a Jabba the Hutt standalone. So, I don't know if Jabba the Hutt would make a great standalone, but hey, it's Disney. They have. If they made a Jabba the Hutt, everybody would go see it, and they'd be laughing all the way to the bank. All right, are you done? No more questions?
I'm all set, don't worry.
All right, because I know you have so much love for Star Wars. All right, our last piece of movie news. There is talks about a new production starring Chris Pratt called Cowboy Ninja Viking. let me... They've released the plot. It's based off a popular graphic novel series. And here's the part. The plot. I can't speak well. A man with multiple personality syndrome is thrown into a government program to become a super soldier with the abilities of a cowboy, a ninja, and a Viking. Matt, what do you think about this project?
Very interesting. I just read about it yesterday. I was to read about it, and the first thing I did was I kind of scratched my head and I said, huh? But I don't know. I don't know what to say about it because I didn't see any pictures or anything. It was just announced, and I don't know. Yeah, it could be a really cool movie. I really don't know, but it could also be like Cowboys and Aliens. But what are your thoughts?
I've never heard of this graphic novel or, and this is the first time I'm hearing of the project, but I feel like this is going to be a ridiculously fun movie. Just the name of the title sounds fantastic. Cowboy Ninja Viking. You can't get a better title than that. It's I really don't care what the plot is, okay? I think it's a great plot as I've heard it, but it could be about anything. And it would still be ridiculous fun. Like,
how often do you get titles like that?
Is it gonna, like, I don't know if it's gonna, like, stand up to, like, maybe the superhero genre or the Star Wars genre, but it's definitely gonna be a fun movie, and I think it's gonna make a lot of money, and I think this could be the start of something. That's just my thoughts. What do you think?
I don't know. I guess I always say time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Oh, you should get that copyrighted. All right, guys, we've come to that part of the show for Random Topic. Here's how this works. Matt has a random topic picked. I don't know what it is. And he's going to throw it down, and I'm going to pick it up, and we're going to talk about it. So, Matt, what's the random topic for today?
All right, when you go to a movie and you see a kids' movie in theaters with a bunch of children, does it make the movie more fun, or are the kids too loud? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, my God. I'm so glad you brought this up. I think there's a fine line. on the one hand, and that's the one hand that people consider the most, is that children are going to be noisy, they're going to be disruptive and ruin the movie. And sometimes, yes, that does happen. But I want to share this one case with you. Last week, I reviewed Paddington because I saw Paddington about a week or so ago. And I thought it was a great movie. And I went where it was a theater full of kids. And there was actually a birthday party going on. So it really made it very exciting, especially, and spoiler alert, let me say that without sounding stupid. Spoiler alert. There is a part towards the end of the film where Paddington the bear is using those like handheld vacuum sucker things to climb up like a steel chimney or a ventilation shaft, if you will, and there's fire below him, and the little suction vacuum thing, I forget the name of them, but they're running out of juice. One runs out of juice and it falls and it breaks and catches fire, and then he's using the last one, and that runs out of juice, so he stands on top of it and jumps just before it loses its suction, and he's trying to reach for the top and he doesn't make it. And the sound from all the children in the theater, I know he's gonna get saved, and he does get saved by his family. He at the very last second they reach in and they grab him. But the sound from all the children in that theater just, oh, it was just so phenomenal to see all these children just genuinely terrified and, wondering, oh my God, is this the end of Paddington? It was fantastic. So, I don't want people to ever, be curmudgeon about the fact that they have to watch a movie in a theater with children, because yes, it could be disruptive and it could be a total waste of a movie, but at the same time it could be very beneficial just to see the kids' reactions, because they are young, they don't know any better than we know that it's not going to be the end of Paddington. We know that because we've seen a lot of movies to the point where we just know, but they don't, and they're going to express that fact. So
yeah, when you're a kid, I remember every episode of the Power Rangers, you think when the bad guy is triumphing over the Power Rangers, you think the Power Rangers are going to lose, and they always triumph over evil every single episode.
Exactly. When you're a kid, that's all you think about. You're going to be like, oh no, this is going to be it. And then you don't get the pattern. It doesn't click with some children, the pattern of these shows or these movies. They're just so emotionally invested into what they're watching, that they don't get it. We get, as adults, we get it because, everything's ruined for us. There's no Santa Claus, there's no Easter Bunny. Life as a child has been ruined once you reach a certain age. But for these kids, it's all in,
Yeah, that's why it's important to see movies when you're a kid, because, you have this creative imagination. You see these movies, and it's just like, wow.
Exactly. All right, are we all good on that? Because I could go on.
No, I think that was really good. I agree with what you said, definitely.
All right.
It's fun watching movies with kids, I'll say that.
Yeah. Except when one of them throws their popcorn at you, that's not fun. I've had that happen to me.
Well, I take kids that get excited over people on their cell phones in front of you in the theater with their light on, a cell phone light.
Yeah. All right, we've reached that part of the show for trailer breakdown. I had to throw my beatboxing skill in there. Trailer breakdown. We're breaking down 2 trailers for you. One of the biggest trailers to come out this week was Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four reboot. Matt, why don't you take it away?
I thought it was kind of funny how we talked about it last episode and the day after it came online. But yeah, I think this trailer is a lot different from other superhero trailers because you don't really see them get their powers. You see them as kids. Well, you see one of the main characters as a young kid playing with some science technology, looking like he's developing some kind of teleportation device. And then you see the 4 main characters doing their thing, and then you see them getting their suit on and using that device to either teleport to another planet or another universe. And you don't really see them get their powers, but you see them go to another world, and it just seems like a very dark superhero movie. And you see them going from one place to another, things happening. They don't really know what's happening, and I think that was really powerful with the trailer. And you definitely, it's dark. You see, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind, but I'm losing my train of thought. But it's very dark, and I think the way they showed the trailer, that they didn't give too much away, and how they got their powers and everything, I thought it established a very interesting mood. What are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was a great first trailer, because we've already had 2 Fantastic Four movies, and we kind of know that they get powers. They could tell how they get their powers in a different way than the first 2. But I feel like that's not necessary for us because we already know it's going to happen due to some sort of experiment or some sort of event. And I think it's a great first trailer because it doesn't give a whole lot away. It gives you enough to keep you intrigued. And I like what you said, how it's darker. Yes, I did find that it was more darker toned than the first 2 were. The first 2 were a little more, kind of lighthearted with, your typical action and a little bit of suspense. But I feel like it's going to be a pretty interesting watch. Like, I'm really on the fence on whether it's going to be, the redemption of the Fantastic Four or not, but it's definitely on its way. I felt it was a very great first trailer.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I really am.
Yeah. The next trailer we're going to break down for you is, and we've been waiting for this, or at least I know I have, Ted 2. Matt, go ahead, take it away.
I must admit, when I saw the trailer, I wasn't expecting that kind of story. Pretty much, you just see Ted. He's trying to. Well, you find out that he's having a kid with his wife, and then he has to prove that he's an actual person. So he has to go through this whole court system and everything. And I thought it was a very interesting story, and it looks really funny. And I'm excited to see it. What are your thoughts on the trailer, Matt?
Well, before I get to the trailer, one of the things I noticed right off the bat when they declared, hey, we're making Ted 2, is that Mila Kunis is not involved in the project. And for those of you who saw Ted 1, Mila Kunis played the love interest / girlfriend of Mark Wahlberg's character. But she's not involved in this project. She's not in it. I don't know if they're going to mention her, what her story's going to be, or if they just completely write her off. So that's one of my that's what I'm really intrigued in. The second part is getting into the trailer now, is that I feel I'm really excited for Ted 2. I loved the first Ted. It was hilarious. I love Seth MacFarlane. I think he's a comedy genius. But with the whole, like, you have to prove you're a person type of thing, that's really not what I was expecting. Like, it's definitely not like the first one where it's just like Mark Wahlberg has to find his... I don't think manhood is the right phrase for it, but he has to learn to grow up. He's been doing these shenanigans with Ted all these years, drinking, getting high, partying, and Ted is perfectly okay with that lifestyle. He was comfortable with that lifestyle. But when Mila Kunis' character comes in and her and Mark Wahlberg's character start dating, she wants him to grow up. She wants him to be more mature to the point where they can start thinking about marriage and starting a family. As, most of us go through life, we have to hit that point where we're like, okay, the fun is over, it's time to grow up and, be a productive part of this economy. And I thought the whole storyline of the first one was just perfect, Ted wants things to stay the way they are, but, Mark Wahlberg's character, he loves Ted and he loves the fun he has with him, but he also loves Mila Kunis' character and wants to make her happy. And if you've seen the movie, you know what happens, and you know how they, all kind of live happily ever after at the end. But with this one, it's completely reversed to the point where it's about Ted and his, wife and starting a family and all that. And for a teddy bear to have a child, that is just that is in the realm of sci-fi, if you ask me. That's fantasy. Not that I think we can all buy off, and I'm starting to ramble, I apologize, but I think we can all buy off on the fact that, Ted is a live teddy bear, because who hasn't, as a child, thought their teddy bear was alive and their friend, because, imagination and all that good stuff. But I think at this point it's getting a little, it's really not what I expected. I'm really excited, and I'm really interested to see where the movie goes,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm sure it'll still be funny.
It's like, yes, Matt, you may speak now. But I think it's going to be a lot of great laughs. Even if the plot just completely demolishes Ted, the Ted franchise, I think it's still going to be great fun and very funny.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we've come to that part of the show for Viewed and Reviewed. This is how this works. Either Matt and I have seen a movie that we're going to review for you. Matt hasn't seen anything new in the theaters recently, but just tonight I saw American Sniper, and I know we reviewed it last week, but I want to give you my review for this week since we have nothing else. And I'm really glad I saw it today because it's still fresh in my mind. First of all, it was a fantastic movie. And people can, will talk your ear off. Oh, Bradley Cooper gives an amazing performance. The movie was incredible. It really captures the real essence of war and what's going on in his head. That's all fine, well, and good. But what nobody can tell you and what nobody can truly prepare you for is how you're going to feel after the movie. I know last week I talked about how, when the movie was, I went into the theater and the movie ended and everybody was quiet. And that's how I knew it was going to be a powerful movie. What I didn't know was exactly how powerful. Like, I saw the ending because I work at a movie theater, so I see the endings of a lot of movies. So, does it ruin it for me? Not really. It does let me know when we're about to end so I can go pee. But, I didn't see I only saw the ending, so I didn't know all of the stuff that led up to it. And let me tell you, I have never been so emotionally invested in a movie in my life. Like, I can't even describe the proper word about how I was feeling. Let me just try to make you understand. I went with my girlfriend Barbara and my friend Sandy, and we went into the theater, and we were in the X Plus, which also added to the powerfulness, just because it was so loud. But the trailers were playing in the beginning, and one of the trailers was Avengers Age of Ultron. And I was all giddy, jumping in my seat, like, yeah, I'm so excited, I'm seeing the trailer in X Plus, it's great. And then the movie starts, and then the movie, we go through the movie, and then it ends. My excited giddiness from in the trailers before the movie starts, that all changed into a very, sad, overwhelming feeling when the credits started rolling. That's how powerful it is. My mood completely changed. I was so invested into this movie. My eyes were glued to the screen. It is very powerful. It gets you thinking. I can't even describe it. It's incredible. The movie is fantastic. If this doesn't win some type of Oscar or award, then people are idiots. This is the real stuff. I've seen war films before, and it's all like, oh, I'm the main character, I'm the hero, I'm gonna kill all the bad guys and save the day. This is not like that at all. This is real war. This is real people. Well, they're actors, but they're portraying real people who laid down their lives. Our U.S. military. And it's not sugar-coated one bit. It's all real, and it's what they go through, and it's just so powerful, and it makes you think. And after seeing this movie, I know 100% I am not mentally, emotionally, or physically capable of serving our great country in the U.S. military. I serve our country by entertaining. That's what I've come to realize. But it got on the ride home. It got to the point where both Sandy and and Barbara had to ask me if I was okay because I got so quiet, and I'm not normally a quiet guy. Perfect example is right now, talking your ear off, but it's just so powerful. I cannot state this enough. It's just it really hits home, and it hits home really hard. But
yeah, to be more pop culture, I'll say that ending though.
that ending though, it is a very sad ending. But I never cried. Like I thought I was gonna cry. I didn't cry. I felt so much sadness, but it was just so much that I couldn't even get enough to cry. I don't know what it is. I felt sad. I felt the want to cry, but I couldn't cry. It was that powerful. It just really hits you. And that's the one thing people don't prepare you for.
Yeah, plus you know it's a real story too. That's the even bigger part.
Yeah. But that's I'm starting to go back to the movie, and that's not. I'm working now. That's not a place where I want to be. So Matt, do you have anything else to say before we move on?
No, I think you did a pretty good job explaining that. And obviously, it was a really good film, and if you've seen it, you know the ending. It's very powerful. You don't even have to say anything. It's powerful.
Yeah, definitely go see it in the theater. Definitely, it's a must see. Before we move on, both my girlfriend and Sandy said that it was a great movie, but it's not a movie they'd want to see twice. And for good reason. Like, it's a fantastic movie, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just so impactful and so hard-hitting that, you're not really sure that you can, mentally take it a second time.
Chris, I forgot to mention last episode, I saw Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Very good tribute to Robin Williams and Mickey Rooney.
Oh, yeah. Night at the Museum. Great. It was a great final film for the franchise. And I really hope they don't make another one. Because I thought the way they ended it was perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
But moving on, because I have to move on. Now we're moving on to a segment called Topic Attack. This is how this works. Matt and I both have a topic we're going to ask each other, but we don't know what the topic the other one has is. So, we're each going to tell each other our topic one at a time, and right after we ask the question or give the topic, we have 60 seconds to give all our thoughts as possible on the topic. So, Matt, do you want to go first, or should I? Or should we flip for it? Let's flip for it. We haven't done that. I have a quarter in my pocket, and Matt, you're just going to have to trust me.
I'll choose heads.
All right, you got heads? All right, I got tails. So, heads, you go first. You ask first, and tails, I asked first. It's heads. You go.
All right. You're going to like this one. When you're in a theater, have you ever had people either sitting next to you or behind you or in front of you, they either had like a bag of chips or some kind of candy that makes like a really rippling effect, kind of like a shuffling sound, and you can't hear any of the dialogue in the movie? And if so, how annoying is it?
I've never really had that problem. Oh, now my phone's going off as opposed to last week. I've never really had that problem. You gonna get?
I muted it.
Hang on. Stop the timer.
Speaking of noises.
I know. Good thing I saved that photo of that phone that I used last week. I'm going to put it right there again. All good? All right, here we go. Reset the timer. I'm going to start over. Ready, set, go. All right, so I've never really had anybody with like a bag of chips or something like right next to me. Like normally they'll be up somewhere else in the theater and where I can't really hear it that much. The thing that people have most often is the bag of popcorn, which, you're pretty much accustomed to. You don't really hear it, especially if you're really into the movie, like with American Sniper. Somebody could have, been chewing on a jawbreaker and been or something crunchy and would have made all the noise in the world. But since I was so into the movie, you don't hear anything else. So, no, I've never really had a bad problem with that at all. If anything, I'm the one who's creating the most noise.
Yeah, that's good. Glad you didn't have any problems, though. That's good.
Have you ever had any problems?
Yeah, I've had a couple problems. When I saw Man of Steel, there was this person in front of me. I think they had like some kind of gummy bears, but it was like in that plastic bracket package. So the whole beginning fight scene where you see a Russell Crowe jumping on that creature flying around, all I could hear is that crushing sound the whole time, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. All right, are you ready for my question?
Damn right.
This one's a good one. All right, Matt. Do you see a definite end to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Go.
Not anytime soon, I'll say that. I mean, maybe way down the road, when the actors are way too old. But, I mean, obviously, I don't think they would reboot it in a way, because the way they have it set up. Because if you think about it, when the Avengers Infinity War comes out, it's going to be 10 years after Iron Man comes out, and that's what started this whole cinematic universe, so... like I said, only time will tell, but that's really all I can say, because it's a huge universe and it's only going to get bigger.
Alright, 33 seconds, not bad. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for one of these days, one of us goes over the 1 minute mark. I'm just waiting for it. But yeah, like, this was I'm not going to lie, this was a question I pulled from AMC. One of their viewers had tweeted them saying, do you guys see a definite end to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And as of right now, no. They said this very well, like, everything ends. And they even say it in the new Avengers Age of Ultron trailer, where Iron Man said, or Tony Stark says, this is the end of the path I started us on, and Black Widow says nothing lasts forever. That's very true. Is the Marvel Cinematic Universe going to last forever? Probably not. Is it going to have a good, strong run? Hell yeah, it is. Look at it right now. It's going on strong. Does that mean it's going to be the death of superhero movies? Absolutely not. I feel like as long as there's superhero comics, or any type of comics for that matter, or just plain superheroes, because we're definitely going to get superhero movies until the end of days.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if you think about DC, Man of Steel is kind of like Iron Man. Man of Steel started the whole, Justice League. I mean, the next movie is going to have Batman and Superman, so I guess we're going to have like a DC universe now, so, if it's not Marvel, it's going to be DC, so...
Yeah, so I don't see an end, especially even in the near future, to the cinematic universe. It will end at some point, but hopefully not in our lifetime. Alright, we've come to that part of the show for a brand new segment that Matt doesn't even know about. I have created, and I thought about this today, or the other day, I have created a brand new segment just for you guys. This segment is called Theater Story Time. This is how this works. For those of you who watch the show diligently, which I'm talking to all three of you, for those of you who don't know, I am an usher at a movie theater. And the one thing you can always count on working at a theater is you always run into some sort of character or some sort of... You always see something that's either out of the norm or just really interesting. It's never a dull day. You run into all sorts of characters. And I had an encounter this past week with a couple, and I want to tell you guys a story. And Matt, I want you to tell me what you think. So here's the story. Once upon a time at BV14, that's how I'm going to start it, right? Okay. Once upon a time at BV14, there was this really irritated couple. This couple came up to box office and was very, I can't think of the word, very irate at the fact that they want to go see American Sniper. But the theater that either someone from box office or one of the ushers, not me, just want to throw that out there, told them to go to Theater 8. Theater 8 was already playing American Sniper, and they caught the last half hour of it, thinking that they got in late and that it already started. They came up to box office very irate. saying somebody told us to go to theater 8 when the movie was only half an hour away from being finished, and we saw the end. They were just giving this poor lady at box office such I'm trying to be PG, such bull crap. And so I intervened saying, yes, you saw the end, but if you follow the news, I'm sure it was on the news, it was a big story, you should already know what happens. What you didn't see is all that leads up to the end. I said, it's about his journey. It's not just about the end. There's a lot in there. And so they demanded to go see, to get tickets to go see it again for a more recent time. And they would, the lady of the couple was so angry that she had to go out for a cigarette and then come back in to go restart the movie. But it was just, they just stormed, that's the story. This couple just storms up to the box office and not yelling at the lady at box office, but very somebody told us to go to the wrong theater. We saw the end of it, and it ruined the movie for us. We don't even know if we want to go see it. But I want to see it. Blah 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 blah. Matt, do you think it's appropriate to get that angry? Yes, you saw the ending, but
no, I don't think I should get that angry. I mean, if you come in late anyways, it's kind of what you expect. If you want to see the whole movie, come in early. That's all I can say. I mean, I worry a lot, so I like being super early to movies, so I make sure, in case it sells out or anything happens, it's like a technical difficulty, I get there as early as possible. And I don't think they should have got that mad, especially, like you said, the poor box office lady, she couldn't do anything about it, she's just giving you the tickets. I mean, and plus, she's, making minimum wage to, listen to people like her, yell at them, or yell at her. It's just, there's nothing you can do about it.
It's so sad because everybody at the theater, all the employees, they get shit from so many customers. Why is the price for, popcorn so high? Why are the, ticket prices so high? This, that, and the other thing. It's not our fault. We're doing our jobs. We don't have control over the prices of anything. We just, unfortunately, have to enforce them. B, and here's the thing. There are people at the theater who will talk down to you and make you feel bad because of their own idiocy. Let me give you an example. People are so invested in their own lives and what they're doing. Maybe they're on a Bluetooth talking to somebody, or they're talking to somebody next to them and they're not listening to you. So you could have come up to me if I was on post and ripping tickets. You could have been talking to your friend, handed me your tickets, and I say what I have to say at my job. I'll look at the ticket and say, okay, Theater 8 is to your right. Enjoy your show. And you won't even look at me. You won't even acknowledge me. Maybe, thank you. That's it. And then you go off. And you don't find the right theater. Why? Because you weren't listening. But what you do is you don't think about that. So you come back to me and bitch me out saying that, you don't know where your theater is, or you went into the wrong theater because you weren't listening, but somehow that's my fault. I'm not saying all customers are like that. We have some very pleasant customers and people who know what the deal is. But
it's always those bad people,
I didn't see this couple, going back to the story, I didn't see them get their tickets. I did not direct them to the theater. I wasn't in the vicinity. I was in the vicinity when they came back. So I'm sure that the lady at box office or whoever tore their tickets told them to go to the right theater. Because after, a couple weeks, once you start working there, you get a hang of where all the theaters are. I'm sure they just weren't listening.
Funny thing is, obviously I don't work there, but I go to the theater so much that I actually know where all the screens are. Like, I know 1 through 7 are on the left, 8 through 12, or 8 through 14 are on the right.
I'm sure you know where everything is.
Yeah, like the director's hall is like 1 and 14. like when you say Screen 8, you know, that's the second biggest one. That's the first one to the right. That's the one that connects to X Plus and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know about the secret bathrooms on the second floor.
Yeah, I do.
It's so funny that not many people know about those bathrooms.
Yeah. I mean, it looks just like an exit, but it's like a bathroom.
Yeah.
A little laundry area.
But yeah, that's my story. The end.
The funny thing is too, like when I go to a movie, like when I'll see my ticket, like I saw American Sniper on Screen 5, but that's where I saw Hunger Games, that's where I saw Gravity. And I was like, hey, I saw this movie on the screen.
You remember what screen you saw? What movie you saw on what screen?
I'll give you an example. Like I saw Tron Legacy 3 times because you know that's one of my favorite movies. I saw it for the first time on Screen 8, and I saw it the other 2 times on Screen 10.
Dude, you got a problem, man. I can't, no.
Yeah, like I saw Maze Runner Screen 8, like Ghostbusters Screen 6.
I would have to go, like I say, just like you, we both save our ticket stubs from the movies. If I have to recall what screen I went to go see the last Hunger Games movie, I'd have to go back and look at the ticket.
Yeah, well, I mean, like certain ones I don't know, but I have like an idea of like, you know, obviously like really important ones, like Jurassic Park. I saw that in 3D, but that was before the X Plus screen. But I did see it in Screen 7, so it was like one of the biggest screens.
Yeah. Like if it's within the most recent movies, like maybe I know Paddington I saw on Screen 10. Theater 10, and American Sniper I saw in the X Plus in Theater 7. That far back, yeah, but anything past that, no way. I don't remember.
Yeah, I saw Night at the Museum in Screen 10, but you knew that because you set up the whole kids thing whenever like the reserve seating or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now we've come to the show for box office. We have box office numbers for you. Number 1 in the box office, again for the second week in a row, American Sniper. This week it made $64.6 million, which makes its gross total $200.4 million, over $200 million, and for very good reason, especially now that I saw it. I honestly think this movie is going to stay number 1 for at least another week. Because this is an incredible movie. Taking the number 2 spot is The Boy Next Door. This week it made $14.9 million, and that is also its gross total. I actually really didn't think it was going to make the top 5. I have no desire to see The Boy Next Door. I hate those movies, like where they make the male the bad guy and he's the stalker and the creepy, you know, if I can't have you, nobody can type of character. It's not just the guys. That's a bad image for guys, but that's just me.
Well, I just thought it had really bad reviews, so that's why I stayed away from it.
Yeah. But apparently not bad enough. It stole the number 2 spot from Paddington. Taking number 3 is Paddington. This week it made $12.3 million, which makes its gross total $39.9 million. Bumping down to the number 4 spot is The Wedding Ringer. This week it made $11.3 million, which makes its gross total now $39.4 million. And getting bumped to the last place in the number 5 spot is Taken 3, not Taking. Words. This week it made $7.4 million, which brings its gross total to $75.9 million. Matt, what do you think about those numbers?
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. I'm surprised The Boy Next Door got such, made such money, but
I know it just kind of like, you know.
I feel like it wasn't advertised as much. That's why, and also obviously the ratings aren't really that good. I think it has like a 4.5 on like IMDb or something.
Right. Like it just bumped its way into second place. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
All right, DVD releases. DVDs that came out this week, we have Fury, The Book of Life, The Judge, and Before I Go to Sleep. You can go check out those movies if you want to. They're at your local place that sells movies. I don't know, Walmart, I guess.
Or Redbox,
Or Redbox.
anywhere. Yeah. Or iTunes. I know a lot of people like digital download stuff.
Yeah.
Like renting.
And I'm sure one of those is going to hit Netflix. I think The Book of Life will probably be a Netflix one.
Yeah.
That sounds like it want to be in Netflix. All right, we've reached that part of the show for mailbag and tweets. I don't know why I had to get sing-songy with that, but it doesn't matter because we have none. So guys, that's incentive. We don't have any mailbag or tweets. So if you have a question or a comment or, just a general, hey, how's it going, like your broadcast, tweet us or put it in the comments below and we will air it on the show. Yeah, so send us mail and stuff. Alright, we have reached that part of the show now for announcements. I have a couple announcements, Matt. I don't know if you do, but you can wait. Because this first one is important. First of all, go Patriots! Super Bowl is this Sunday. Tomorrow, well, it's going to be today when you guys see it because we're doing this Saturday, but it's like 10:34 at night. So by the time I finish editing this and put it up, it's going to be Sunday. So go Patriots today. Can't wait for the Super Bowl. Can't wait for the commercials. So yes, that's my first announcement. Go Pats. My second announcement is if you live on the East Coast or you heard about what happened to the East Coast, we got a really huge blizzard. What was it, this past week? Or the week before? This past week. I'm losing my days. But yeah, we had a really...
When they see this episode, it'll be next week. It'll be Sunday, but technically, as we're recording this on Saturday, it's the same week. But
yeah, so this past week.
We're getting on Monday, right?
Yeah, we're getting more snow Monday.
Yeah.
We're getting more snow tomorrow too, or today rather. If you're listening to this, we're getting snow Sunday into Monday, and Monday I heard is supposed to be bad. But anywho, this past week. We had a huge blizzard, which they're calling the Blizzard of 2015, and it actually broke a lot of records in terms of blizzards here. But I was watching the news all day that day, on Monday, and I got really bored, so I decided to go out and make a spoof news report. So if you want to check out my bogus Blizzard of 2015 news report, just go right here on my channel. I'll put a link in the description. I thought it was kind of funny. Matt, you liked it.
Yeah, it was really funny. I must say with that, happy early Groundhog Day, because I just realized it's, was it Tuesday?
Is Tuesday early Groundhog Day?
No, Monday, yeah. Isn't it the second? Yeah, so it's Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yikes. Alright, yeah, happy early Groundhog's Day too, I guess.
Groundhog/snowstorm day.
Yes, absolutely. For those of you on the West Coast or down south, you suck. Because we have nothing to do with the snow. We don't know where to put it, and we're getting more. But with that out of the way, I have one shout out. I'm thinking of doing a shout out to somebody on YouTube every week. So that's what I'm going to do. Matt, you don't have a say. This week's shout out is to the channel The Haunting of Sunshine Girl Network. I'll put a link to the channel below. What it is anybody who knows me knows I love the paranormal. Not just paranormal movies, but anything that has to do with actual paranormal activity. And this channel is about a girl who, her name is Sunshine, and wherever she goes, she's always haunted. And it's not like paranormal activity type quality, but it's definitely it really got me into it. Like, she films everything, and the videos are so short that, like, you know, it grabs your attention span longer. Like, I've sat on the couch for hours watching the videos on her channel. So go check her out. She's really great. I'll put a link in the description. And that's all I have for announcements. Matt, do you have anything?
Nope, no new videos yet, but, yeah. I don't know if I said this, but, we have a Tumblr now, if you want to follow us on Tumblr.
We have a Tumblr?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tumblr. Oh, yes. Surprise.
That's awesome. How can you tell the audience how you can reach us on Tumblr?
Yeah, just if you make a Tumblr, you can just look up Movie Madness, and I'll send a link, or I'll send Matt a link to put on here, or put on the video, and then you can just follow us, and then I can reblog some film stuff, some funny gifs of, maybe I'll even make some gifs of like Matt and the new segment thing. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Do we have anything up there now?
Yeah, I reblogged a couple things, like the podcasts and whatnot.
Oh, okay, cool. We have a Tumblr.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm gonna you're killing me, Matt. I'm a slave to trends already. Now I have to download Tumblr. All right. Well, if that is all, then we will go to the closing. That is it for us for this week on Movie Madness. Thank you guys for watching so much. I'm Matt Ofcarsic from OfcarcikFilms.
And I'm Matt Collins from Country Portal.
And we will see you next week with more news and cut.